I remember it like it was yesterday, graduating high school and having the big decision of what to do next. Go to college, get an education and a degree alongside a load of debt, or join the workforce and make some money while learning new skills and trades. With having no idea what I wanted to do, I decided to talk it over with my mother. We spoke mostly about college and which one I would like to attend, but then I stopped and thought, what if college isn't for me? What if I went into the workforce, the union, maybe even trade work? I brought this to my mother's attention and she said, yeah, of course, you could do any of those. But you know women don't make as much as men do in those types of jobs, immediately discouraging me from any blue-collar jobs. But it left me thinking, why is the pay so different for men and women? How did women become so devalued in their work? Having knowledge of women's history and how they entered the workforce can be a resourceful asset to Americans' understanding of the gender gap and why it is what it is today, which could enable them to take a better approach when trying to change the system. Did you know in 1819, the U.S. Employment Service began encouraging female workers to take up the jobs that were being vacated by men who were called to serve in the war in Europe? This led to many concerns from men because they were afraid when they returned to those positions after the war that their wages would be deflated. Subsequently, the National War Labor Board issued a proclamation advocating equal pay for those women who, as long as they were temporarily performing a man's job. However, over 47% of the workforce was comprised of women. And while women need to earn an income, they also have their share of domestic chores and cares to do, yet their income still remained below their male colleagues. According to the Washington Post, between 1916 and 2018, the U.S. industry transformed. It shifted from a smaller, whiter, more manufacturing-based workplace to a much larger, diverse, and driven by labor service workplace. And by then, women made up almost 55% of the middle-skilled workers, but approximately 83% of those positions paid less than $30,000 a year. Although the gender gap has shrunk over the past 60 years, from 41 to 20 cents on the dollar for the average white woman, it nevertheless endured. But it isn't just the imbalance of unequal pay for the same job. It's the reason for the imbalance. It's because the culture of gendered stereotypes that pay less to those jobs identified as women's work. It has now almost been 60 years since the Equal Pay Act was passed. And since then, we've seen women make tremendous strides in the workplace, but they still continue to be paid less than their male counterparts. The fact of the matter is that embedded into most Americans' DNA is an understanding of work being a devaluation of women's time and skills. Men's work contributions have always been fairly priced. Meanwhile, when women want to contribute, they're expected to offer household duties and to participate in a full-time job, and they still don't receive the pay they're due. That's why legislative advances on equal pay continue, but female workers don't always see their effects. The pay gap can't be erased because its roots go deeper into the American history than we know. However, knowing our history can allow us to change our future.